CMPRadio.net, the voice
your
of
page?
Chester.
Okay. I'll send it to page.
Net, you already know it's your boy Uncle P, and I'm sitting here with my friend, my brother, my compatriot, my soldier. Like this is what we do, right? I appreciate you. You feel me? Like for picking me up sometimes when you notice things, and that's what this podcast is about. It's uncomfortable conversations with your homeboy Uncle P. Me and Chris were talking on the phone, and he asked me a couple questions, and I said, well, listen, we can go live with this. We can have this conversation because there's not much I want to hide. There's not much I don't want people to know, right? I say I am the example. Learn from me, right? I think, I know. Jay-Z said Hove did that. So hopefully you don't have to go through that.
Right.
Right? And I feel like I'm living.
He was talking about selling drugs at the time.
It could be selling drugs. It could be starting your own business. It could be struggling
to start a business, I guess,
to get a foothold, right? Because a lot of people think it's easy to do this work.
Facts.
And it's not.
Yes.
Right? It requires a lot of commitment, sacrifice, understanding.
Yes.
Getting back up again after somebody knock you down. And I've been knocked down so many times.
Right.
And I think, so I don't want to interview Chris. I think Chris, we're just here to have a conversation. But for real, I told him, I want you to ask me questions that you think people want to know.
Before you get into all the questions, I think you tried to question my Chester, level.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm Chester High class 2006.
Let's go.
That's important.
Right.
We actually having game night after this.
Right.
That's what brought me. I'm here for the conversation.
You're here
for the conversation.
But you're here.
But I'm also here for game night.
It's homecoming weekend.
Yes.
Right.
So
or week, whatever.
But our conversation was really important to me.
Right.
Because I think, and this is what from my own experience in Chester, and well, let's just finish the story.
Right.
You just said I was in a gifted program in Chester, so I didn't really know everybody like that.
Right.
Yes, there was like a track. Yes, we were track. School tracking is real.
Right, it is.
Right? So there was like whole floors of Chester High that maybe
UAC?
I was aware that they were there.
But
there's A side and C side.
Right.
I just wasn't
out there.
I had no reason to be there. On those floors.
Absolutely.
But I was at the high the whole time. And yeah, I was in the gifted program. Right. But I mean, I'm still, you know what I'm saying?
I know you are. You showed up
here.
You showed up. You showed up here with your punch.
It's cool. It's cool though. I came out of Chester High.
I love you, bro. Like from the first time you came through the radio station, which I think was 2017.
Yeah.
You were a guest on JR Kick's show.
Yeah.
And Andrew brought you in. Y'all were talking.
Andrew Nelson. We went to the same church.
The things that you were saying.
Yes.
The energy that you brought.
Right.
I said, I gotta fuck with him.
Yeah.
You feel me? Instantaneously, I walked up to you. I said, "What's up, Chris? My name is Pierre. Right? This is my radio station. What would you do different? I need to know."
But let me tell you a secret about my gifted program high school experience. So my senior project at Chester High was creating a radio station for the high school. I don't know if folks know, but if you make that turn going to the library at Chester High, that whole side on the right-hand side was where a TV station, a closed channel TV station was supposed to be for young Chester folks to learn about broadcasting.
Yes, it was. So I went to the high school in 97. I cut a lot of classes in those hallways.
Okay.
I broke a lot of things down and went up in a lot of rooms, and I saw this equipment in those rooms. This was 97.
I got you.
So the equipment was always there.
Got you.
The equipment was always in the workings.
Got you.
They just never had anybody to work the equipment.
Yeah.
Right.
So this was right when Corey was starting making the Change Group. Right.
Shout out to Corey.
2005, 2006.
Right.
And I partnered with Corey to do a live wasn't called a podcast at the time.
No, it wasn't. It was a radio
We
broadcast.
had a DJ KY came.
Right.
We had a 4-track.
Right.
And we recorded a radio show in that room as like a sample for my senior project.
Right.
We send that to the Hot Boys at Power 99.
Right.
Me, Diddy, Naj, and about a good 8 more of my classmates. We all go to Power 99.
Wow.
And are part of a radio show experience at Power 99.
Oh, shit.
Just Upland paid for the bus to take us there and back.
Wow.
Word, Miss Glover.
Shout out to Miss Glover. She was my guidance counselor. Shout out to Miss Glover, right.
So, like, I also feel a direct kinship to the CMP Radio project.
Absolutely.
Because the importance of what the medium of radio does.
I don't think people understand how important it is, right? To be able to get information out there to people to digest.
Yeah.
For people to be able to relay that information back to you the way they received it and have a yes or a no attitude about it, right? And that's what I love about radio, right? It's not really for you to enjoy. It's for you to critique. It's for you to look back and judge and say, no, that's not true. Oh, P lying, or oh, he doing this, right? But I don't really want to come off like that person, right? So, you know, like as my name, it says right underneath my name, I'm a community optimist, man.
Right.
I think about all the positive things.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of my life, I was a pessimist. I was negative.
Right.
Oh, that's not going to work. Oh, you trying to do that? Oh, you ain't going to make no money doing that. I have been nothing but, like, I see abundance in front of me, and I'm trying to get there.
Yes.
Right? But I understand that I can't climb this hill by myself.
Right.
So meeting you, meeting Andrew, meeting Breon, meeting the brothers that I've met over the past 8 years has helped me get to where I am right now. I did not do this alone.
Right.
Right. So I'm super proud of that, right? But the fact that you were talking about in Chester High School, there's a radio station. I wonder if they still have it. I wonder if they still would like to partner with somebody that has I don't have a whole lot of experience.
Right.
But I'm sure we can probably put something together for the kids of the community so that the kids understand how important communication is.
Right.
Right.
And the tools have certainly evolved. I think another whole part of the project and something that I like really love about the way you do CMP radio is I have always, and one of my challenges has always been like, we've been in a very information-starved city. And purposefully at times. Yeah. As in, people are withholding
information, resources.
Important, necessary information about just the building blocks of the institutions that govern our lives.
Right.
And I have a lot of questions about those. That's why I didn't do well when I was working for the city. I ended up getting fired. It's a whole different story.
You got fired from a lot of places.
I asked a lot of questions.
And you're supposed to ask questions.
But that's why I'm here for the conversation.
Right.
That's what I'm good at, asking questions.
Asking questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's the context of Chester. But I think more importantly, in the pre-conversation that we had about this conversation, kind of really stems from navigating. You need a minute?
No, I don't need no minute. I'm looking at the people.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Miss Twilight. How you doing?
Oh, what's going on, Miss T? We working on something.
Why you got the morning meeting up here, bro? It's uncomfortable conversations. Say this will happen when you get a new engineer.
Yo, I appreciate an engineer. Don't be.
No. I'm not knocking him.
Okay.
I'm not knocking him.
All right.
I gotta take. I apologize for coming off as though I was knocking you. I'm just saying, like, this definitely is not the morning meeting, right? And I don't want to. I don't want the.
But it is the morning meeting because we waking people up.
No, it's uncomfortable conversations because you about to make me very uncomfortable.
Let's see where we can get on that.
Right.
Because the pre-conversation was, you had a very you say like a year.
A tumultuous
year.
Yes. Look at me using big words. See, you come around me with that.
Right, exactly.
You feel me?
Word.
Yeah.
I still didn't want Dr. Rogers up there. I would
Right.
much rather be Chris, but it's fine.
I got it.
And yeah, but it's also the importance of what the media, like coming back to the importance of radio,
right,
is we all are experiencing real life.
Yes.
And this platform, media, should be a place where we can talk about our real lives and talk about our real emotional experiences, the ups and downs, the hills and valleys, if you will. Because, not too spiritual, but in some way, if we can get to something, to a heart of an issue,
right,
it maybe might awaken something, or folks can feel some form of connection.
Absolutely.
To say, like, I've been there.
Yep.
I had this thought.
Yes. Yes.
James Baldwin says, right, that sometimes we can feel so isolated in our grief, in our pain, in our stress, until in his quote is like, until we read. But I think it's also just like until we witness, until we open up and see someone else who's also navigating the same thing.
Say that quote one more time. Sometimes we can feel so isolated.
Yeah. We can feel so isolated in our experiences,
right,
as if the pain and struggle that we are experiencing is something that no one else has ever experienced before.
Absolutely.
But at the same, and what Baldwin reminds us is that, no, like those pains, those struggles are part of what connects us.
Yes.
And by being honest to those realities, we find ways to build bridges, to build foundations, to build community.
Come on.
To find a way out, to find a way forward, if you will.
Straight through the wall, bro.
Right?
Right. I've gone through a lot this year.
Got you.
This year isn't over yet.
Yeah.
My mother, my cousin, and my grandfather, they all passed away. These were people who were very, very involved in my life.
Got you.
Over the last 7 years, I started the radio station. I'm not going to say I sacrificed my family, but I did. Y'all know me.
Right.
I got to build this radio station up.
Yeah.
Right? Because I didn't feel as though I had a whole bunch of time to play around.
Right.
I ignored health concerns. I found out this year that, I got diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And so for all of those things hitting me, I had 2 strokes 2 years ago. Right?
I remember this.
I really didn't put a lot of emphasis on my health because I was building a radio station. So I'm just eating and just running and doing things. So when my mom passed away, I was like, okay, that was my mother. Like she believed in me. I talked to her the night before, and I don't know if she had to say what she said to me to leave, but I kind of wish she didn't say it, right? Because then she would still be here because it was something that she didn't get off. But she told me how proud she was of me doing the radio station. She was like, I didn't think you would still be doing the radio station. And
right.
I thought it was. She said literally, I was looking on my clock. I said, all right, he about to quit.
Yeah.
And you didn't quit.
Right.
And then I looked at it again. I said, all right, yeah, now he definitely gonna quit now. And you didn't quit. I said, yeah, Mom, but I'm working these jobs. I can't focus on. I know the reason I was hired for these jobs is because I have the radio station, because I am a person in my community, right? I'm not just sitting down being a part of the community. I said, we're like groundhogs. The positive people of this community are like groundhogs. We only pop up when something's happening, right? And I said, when I started the radio station, I said, I'm going to stay up out the ground, and I'm going to make sure things come into our community that benefit the next generation.
Right.
So when my mom, when I was talking to her, I was like, man, I just don't feel, it wasn't respect. It's, you know, when you work for someone, you want someone to let you know you're doing a good job.
Got you.
If you never hear you're doing a good job,
Right.
why would you think you're doing a good job? Right. And then with PA Humanities, it was more like, I really didn't fit in. You understand what I'm saying? It was like, this, they good people.
Yeah.
Love Lori.
I didn't either. Okay.
Love Lori to death. Jen, that's my dog, right? But when I thought about things, I said, I got to get myself together.
Yeah.
Right? So that I can continue to grow.
I hear you.
I felt like they put me in a place where I wasn't going to receive enough sun
Yes.
or water to grow.
Yes.
And that really wasn't for me.
Right.
But I love them. Shout out to PA Humanities.
And I appreciate the storytelling. And I think we owe it to the lives and the people that you mentioned.
Right.
To slow it down some.
Okay, let's slow it down.
Because I think you mentioned you went to a story of your mother, and I want to come back to that real soon.
Let's go.
But you said your cousin, your mother, and
my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
Right.
Can we just name those people for a minute?
Right.
Like, can we just bring their
Deborah Lynn Johnson Bryce, Sherelle Foreman, and Pierre Bryce.
Word. I want to, and I know so many people who probably are watching this also have a direct connection.
Right.
And I think it's also, something you said around the radio station and feeling like the radio station was interrupting in some ways that relationship. And I think that's something that we should get to.
Okay.
But first, I want to begin to honor the folks, right?
Absolutely.
And just in terms, and beginning with your mother, I believe, because that's where you went in with the story first.
Right. Could
you share a little bit about, her story, her triumphs, her accomplishments?
Right.
What are the things that we need to remember and hold on to?
I've learned how to love people from my mother. So my mother was born in Chester. She loved Chester. I went to Chester High because I went to Chester High. So I actually had a scholarship to Malvern Prep.
Word.
I went to kindergarten. I went to K through 8th grade at Holy Ghost. I went to Catholic school. And if my father would have lived, I would have went to Catholic high school. But my mother, she said, no, I went to Chester High. You're going to Chester High. It was real simple. I was not built for Chester High.
What's that mean? Hold on. What's that mean?
What you mean? I was a nerd, bro. Like I was in the gifted program before the gifted program was the gifted program, but I went to the academy and I had already started to meld with the bad, good apples. They weren't quite rotten yet, but they were turning that way. And I melded with them, so I didn't last in the academy past a year.
I got you.
And then I was sent over to the high school, and I was upset about that. But I went through what I went through. But my mother, she loved everyone, right? She gave everybody a place in her life, in her space.
Yes.
She went to Delaware County Community College. She was what was she? See, this is what happened when you had those strokes, right? You can't remember. But she was an administrative assistant. She worked for my uncle. She worked for Macy's. She worked in the family.
Yes.
She could cook. But more than anything, she was my mother. She reserved space for me,
right,
to fuck up as many times as I needed to,
yes,
until I got it right.
Yeah,
right. And she told me, no matter what, I will always love you. And I did some things to my mom, bro. I did a lot of bullshit to my mother. And I just wanted her to know that I wanted the Bryce name to be known for something other than what I made it known for in the city of Chester.
Yeah.
Right. Talking on the phone with her. And she was like, baby, you already did that.
Yeah.
Like you don't see it because you're on the train.
Right.
But you're moving.
Right.
And I'm going to help you. I'm going to be there. Right. And I'm so proud. She said, these past 7 years have been the best night's sleep I have had since your father passed away. I don't have to worry about where you are.
Right.
I'm not worried about who you're with.
Yes.
I'm not worried about what you're doing.
Yes.
She's like, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, man. All right. When I hung up the phone, I was already clearing space. Like I was trying to back everybody up so I could view what was on the table. Mm-hmm. And I said, all right, I'm quitting my jobs. Right? This is before my mom passed away. I said, I have no other choice but to quit and start over again. Right? However hard that is. Now I was working 2 jobs. Both jobs were paying me $75,000 a year.
Hey,
$150,000 a year. I was making more than the attorneys were, and I was told this. You're making more than any attorney working.
They would love to remind you of that, right? Like they're not just going to let you,
right?
Because it's not even that much money in you're not in anybody's 1%.
No,
whatever. You're just doing well.
I'm just doing well, right? I was doing so bad before I was doing well that I hadn't quite started to do well yet because I was still
digging your way out.
Digging my way out.
That's the story of us, man.
So I quit both jobs, but no, let's stay on that night. So I said, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. I gotta find peace. I went to sleep, and I was woken up at 4:00 by my godmother calling me saying something's wrong with your mom. I can't get her. So my godmother had went to New York. And my mother was staying with my godmother's grandmother, taking care of her because she lived in an assisted living situation.
Yeah.
So my mom was always willing to help someone. But my mom had a pacemaker. My mom, she felt something was wrong.
Right.
She called the ambulance. The ambulance came there and didn't try to come in the building because the doors were locked. So they couldn't get up to her.
Wow.
They sent somebody up there to check on her, but her mouth was over and she looked like she was asleep.
Yeah.
So nobody went over there so by the time the ambulance got upstairs to her,
right,
she was already gone.
This not this Crozier Chester?
No, this not it's I'm not gonna name it.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Right, we got a lawsuit for that. I'm not.
Yes.
But even that hurt me because my mother was always giving of herself.
Right.
She would always go above and beyond for anyone. I watched my mother just do everything for everyone else. And I used to tell her, well, I'm your son. Why are you doing this for that person? Why are you helping out this person? But my mother's house was a haven for misfits. Literally. You feel me? Like she didn't have a problem that you didn't have to do anything special because my mother was waiting on you to do something special.
Right.
However long it took you. If you had one day of doing something special, she was super proud of you. Always clapping, always. Yeah. And so from that, I take on, that's why the station is, the doors are open.
Right.
Right? I get yelled at all the time because the doors are always open. Anybody can come in here and take whatever you want. It's like, if they take it, I'll get it again. That's how I feel. Go ahead.
But, and you're moving. Right. Right? And I'm going to try to keep slowing it. Yeah. Because what you're saying is essentially the lessons that you struggled with your mother about, you struggled to learn about, that at times you felt you like were unwilling to hear at a certain point in time.
Absolutely.
And had to struggle through to make sense of, to come out the other side, in some ways find an opportunity to to repair, you know? And then from that moment, you took those lessons and you put them into this thing that we call CMP Radio.
Yes, I did.
Which is to say, there's some part of CMP Radio that has your mother's DNA still in it.
Damn right. Absolutely. I know, and I said it, because everyone that passed away this year touched me, not like that, but allowed me to be me in my time.
Yes.
But they gave me grace to grow and to be somebody new. My cousin, right? When I ran out to the street, she was by my side.
Right.
She stood in front of me for a lot of different situations. She's like, no, cuz, don't do this. No, cuz, do that. No, who, what, let me call this. So she was my networker. You feel me? Like she made a lot of things happen for me.
Right.
To lose her. And like I said, over these 7 years, I distanced myself, right? Because I became so infatuated with turning this radio station into what I believe it could be, with not having any background in it, right? So My grandfather, he was always teaching me to pray, right? He's like, I don't care what religion you are, pray to God. Just give it to God. God will answer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he'll answer. There's not a moment now where I'm broke and frustrated and I get mad because tomorrow's another day and another day can give me money, right? Can give me whatever resources I need.
Right.
Gas. Oh, somebody pops up. Yo, you need gas?
Right.
Bro, I had that happen to me. Like somebody come up to me, man, you good? You need some gas? I'm sitting there at the gas machine like, what the fuck? Yo, you need some gas? Oh, I got you. You feel me, man? You cool, Uncle P. I said, oh. Yeah, I see you doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
You feel me? After my mom passed, I would go down to the beach. And I was down at the beach and I felt real bad. Right?
Which beach? Hold up. Which beach?
I went down to Ocean City.
Word.
And I was sitting on the beach and I was crying. And I've never thought, I can't say I've never thought, I've never been an adult and thought about killing myself. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I was like, no, nothing's going right. I'm going to lose the radio station. I'm going to lose everything. I done quit my jobs. What the hell was I thinking about? I need that money to do this. I need that money to make this happen. And the young lady walked up to me, and she put her hand on my shoulder first. And she said, are you okay? I said, yeah. She said, whatever door you're knocking at, try twisting the door now. It's already open.
Solid. This is like a black elder?
She was an elder, but she was black.
Okay.
Right? She was black. And I was like, thank you.
Sage wisdom.
And she I say she rolled her hand, and I lifted my hand up, and I touched her hand. I said, well, what's your name? She said, Debbie. And I just started crying some more. I was like, shh. So then before I went down on that trip, my grandfather had a stroke. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, man, I can't do this. Like, but I had to go over there. I had to see him. I had to be there. Right. Because my grandfather, he was a warrior. He was a fighter.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Things
that I never knew about him, I discovered during this time. And I had to pull my pants up. I had to keep going. I still haven't grieved correctly my mother, my cousin, or my grandfather because I'm moving. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is there a correct grief? Like, is there a correct grief? Like,
yeah,
there's a correct. I don't know if there's a correct.
For me,
the questions.
For me, I've watched people grieve the wrong way, sit in the bed, cry, get upset, right, and be woe is me, right. Be upset, be mad, and strike out at other people. I believe the correct way is to remember their moments and try to. I see people as like pollen.
Okay.
When they die, right?
Uh-huh.
Their flower opens,
right,
and releases the pollen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to collect as much pollen as I can get from my mother, from my cousin, from my grandfather, right?
Yes.
Because I feel like their memories need to serve a greater good.
Yes.
I need to remember them. Now, I cry because shit, they gone.
Yeah.
They're not here. And I didn't need them to do anything for me.
Yeah.
But just to have them on the other end of the phone. Like I say, since my mother passed 4 months ago, right, I've been trying to call her phone.
Right.
Just to hear her voice. Just to hear her say, I love you. And I haven't been able to do that. And that's been like, so I'm like, fuck, man. I'm looking for videos.
Yes.
Pictures.
Yes.
Moments that we shared. But all I hear her saying is, I'm so proud of you. You did something that you didn't even believe you could do. It's been 7 years.
Yeah.
You have a business, right, that has sparked the community to talk, to come out and give good information.
Right.
You sparked other people to start their business, to start their podcast. She's like, was nobody doing this in the city of Chester?
Yeah.
And you pissed off a whole regime of leadership where they don't fool with you and they raised you.
Was they actually Okay.
And they raised me.
I'm staying here.
They raised me, all of them. And you mad at me for?
Yeah.
Huh? But like I said, it is what it is, right? Go ahead.
What I appreciate is I'm seeing how many things are connected here. I should say too, I am no therapist. I'm not a therapist. I read a lot.
Right.
I engage in a lot of work around feeling.
Right.
But I think what we're trying to do is kind of talk through moments, right? And I just wanted, for anybody who's watching, there is a real and important and necessary space to have, professional support sometimes.
I got a
I think,
therapist.
I think JP and I have had some of this conversation already,
Right.
and it feels okay. And I appreciate that he trusts me to kind of walk through this with him.
Absolutely.
But I just want to also note for folks who are watching that you can't do this with everybody. You shouldn't try.
You shouldn't
You shouldn't really try.
No, you really shouldn't.
But I think it's important as we kind of lift things up to kind of like talk through this process. And I'm seeing that this process for you is so connected. It's like this constellation of grief, loss, and joys.
Right.
There's joys in there too.
You have to find the joys. When putting my mother in the ground was not as hard as putting my father in the ground. I was 12 years old when that happened. He asked me to do something that I felt as though I couldn't do. I was 12, and he asked me to take care of his wife and his daughter. I tried my hardest.
Right.
I ran out there to the street. I ran out there to make money, bring money in.
Right.
My mother knew this.
At 12?
I'll say I was about 14.
Okay.
When it really got started, right? But I was outside in the street at 12, right? Hanging out, getting punched on, getting chumped, because I wasn't allowed outside. My father did not let me go outside. I was always reading a book, reading the newspaper, doing some math problems.
Yes.
My handwriting.
Jump off the porch into the thick of it.
Boy, right off the porch into the thick of it. And the people that knew I was new, they took advantage of that.
Yeah.
The people that knew that I led with love, I don't want to hurt you. You're my brother. I know your mother. Why would I want to hurt you when I know your mother?
Right.
I can't look your mother in the face if I do something to you. So I don't want to fight you. Oh, punch. You feel me? Rob, steal.
Yeah.
Right? And so then I learned, right, that I need to do things by myself.
Because they was probably going through the same thing, jumping off from whatever, and now they like, well, they did it to me. I'm gonna do it to the next. I'm gonna do it to the next person.
Do it to the
and
next
it's
person.
a cycle.
It is
of taking our grief.
Huh.
They say anger is a secondary emotion.
Yes, it is.
And it becomes a sense of like rage or
Hostility,
sometimes things you don't even believe in. You end up doing out of just
right.
But that's where so two things.
Right.
One, that's where I come back to the grief part, like the correct way of grieving. Because I think we have to be real and honest and say, we ain't get no instruction manual for this shit.
We don't get no instruction manual for nothing.
So like there's a whole lot of like, we only working with the things that are available to us.
That's all we can work with.
That's all we can work with.
Right.
And with that, we can't denigrate what someone believes is necessary to their survival because that's all they know. It becomes the work of community.
It does.
To open up possibilities for, oh my God. It's almost like what you said about your cousin. To find grace to grow and to be renewed. It's almost like you said the pollen is spreading. There's something about this conversation in which we're taking and trying to find these moments, these realizations that allows us to remember and also take what we have learned and what we have gained, even in the hard, painful, difficult part of loss and grief, but a sense of self-knowledge, a sense of self-awareness that becomes critically important if we're trying to cultivate mature positivity.
If you're trying to do something bigger than yourself, it's important that you understand what you're going through.
Right.
And I knew when my mom passed away that I had to be strong for my children. I had to be strong for my sister. Because who else did I believe, and this is from experience, who else did I believe would stand there by her, by my children, right? I have 8 children. Mm-hmm. And my mother affected all of them in a different way. But my 3 oldest knew more about my mother than anyone else. Mm-hmm. And to see them cry, see them hurt, see them feel guilty for not calling. You feel me? And I tell my kids all the time, right? When you pray to the Father. Now, you can pray to the Son, right? That's cool. But ultimately, you should want to pray to the Father, right? Because that's who created everything.
I mean, we don't have to gender it, but I get what you're saying.
Or the son, or the mom, whatever.
Right.
Cool. So I tell my kids, you know, when you call me, you're calling me for something, a reason. You need something, you need some money or something like that. When I call you, I'm just checking up on you. So why can't you just call me and check up on me? Why can't you reach out and call me? And I told him one day, I'm not promising. My dad used to say it to me all the time. One day I'm going to be gone. You're going to be mad. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to understand what I'm telling to you now, right?
What they all say.
And he was right, though.
Yes.
Like, he was right. And I really didn't. He died when I was 12, 1992. The lights didn't cut on in the house until 2008, bro.
Yeah.
What? I was 38.
Yeah.
Before I realized, well, not really 38. I was 28 before I really realized that I was living wrong. I was 37 when I decided to start the radio station. Mm-hmm. I understood what I had to do to be who I wanted to be. And I never really, I don't want to be a superstar. I don't want to be making a whole bunch of, no, that's for whoever's with me. Right. Let's all make this money. Let's all make it together. But I know someone has to be the first to say, this hurts. But you have to keep moving. Right. This right now might be the worst feeling you will ever feel in your life. But if you stay in it, it will affect everyone behind you. Uh-huh. If you keep moving and you understand the joys and the laughter and the pain, and that just comes with it. I take it from Training Day, right? My favorite movie.
It's perfect time for Training Day.
Smiles and cries.
Yes.
You control your smiles and cries. Now, how much you cry. Yes. And how much you smile is up to you. Right. But if someone makes you cry, all right, yeah, I'm good. You feel me? Or you could cry for days. If you cry for days, they ain't never going to stop messing with you. But if you stop crying and be like, all right, and you smile a little bit, they're going to think you crazy. And they ain't going to bother you. Smiles and cries. That's how I
hear you.
Right.
So I think my response would be Toni Morrison. Mm. You know, GOAT. Writer, who lost one of her sons. And it's an interview. You can read about it in The Guardian. And it's like, well, you know, what do you want to, you know, how do you come back to happiness? Like, I'm not after happy. I just want to feel what I feel. Because the capacity to feel all the range, the full range of our emotions is what makes us human, is what makes us who we are. And I might say, you know, tell me about it in the comments, that when we try to artificially constrain the limit of emotions that we're willing to showcase, it comes out in weird ways that can be harmful, I think, first to ourselves, but also to the people that we care about. Because we're trying to do something when we feel a different way. And that contradiction between those two is hard to reconcile.
It is.
And sometimes it drives people to other forms of coping mechanisms, right? Whether it's, you know, a blunt every morning, afternoon, and evening, some form of drinking. You know, and we in Chester, sometimes it get worse than that.
Yeah, it definitely
and it could have been, I mean, how you made your money as a young person by serving people who were experiencing that same
grief,
irreconcilable emotions.
It never gets better, right?
So it's like, I do agree that we do need to move. Yeah.
But at the pace that you move, right?
Yeah, but it's something about, for me, it's something about the keep it moving.
Right.
That we can't dismiss, that we can hold the grief.
Absolutely. While we move.
It's
okay.
We can hold the loss while we move.
Right. I've watched people stay still though.
Right.
I've seen people get lost in themselves and their kids get lost.
Right.
And their kids get lost. Now you got 3 generations that are lost. And when this 4th generation comes, he tries to do something different. They looking at him like, you tripping. Why you doing that? Like, what do you mean? We need to do this. This is what we all need to do. We need to move.
Yes.
Right. So
and I don't know where we at on time, but
we're good.
I don't know if this is a bridge, right? I mean, I think we still have much about your cousin to uplift. We also have a little bit of your grandfather's story to uplift. Right. But I think what this says is a bridge, right? Of yes, I do think we can get stuck in this when we individually are in our box. Right. And that becomes the importance of community.
Yes, it does.
And that becomes the importance of why we need spaces, places, networks, media vehicles, churches, mosques, all those opportunities to find community, to talk through the real and difficult moments of our lives in order to find something, within that we may not know is there. Things that might be sitting subconsciously. It could be something, a poem, a piece of art, a novel, a TV show. It was sometimes even comedy shows that bring something to the surface. And at that moment, when you're ready to, like you said, 92, 2008, how do you go about sharing that moment and like that realization moment, that coming of age moment?
Oh, I heard him. I was in the cell looking out the window, and all I heard him say is, "I told you so." I said, "Sally, what you say?" He said, "I ain't say nothing." I was like, "Oh." Looking out the window, he said, "Man, dumbass, I told you so." I said, "Sully, man, stop playing with me." He said, "Bro," he stood up. He said, "Bro, I ain't said nothing. Like, what's wrong? You all right?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah, you looking out that window." I was like, "Damn." So when I was younger, we lived in the Banneker, and I always wanted to go outside.
Shout out to the Banneker.
Shout out to the Banneker.
Did you ever get stuck on the elevator?
Yeah.
Does that happen? How many times a week?
I want to say it happened to me. It didn't happen to me per week.
Okay.
I really wasn't allowed to leave the apartment, but when it did happen, me and my mom were on it. One time it happened when me and my friends were on it. So I was allowed outside, but smatteringly. I wasn't allowed outside a lot. And I was looking out the window and I was like, "Dad, can I go outside?" He said, "Yeah. Go write on a piece of paper what you're gonna do when you go outside."
Gotcha.
I write it down, bring it to him. He graded. No explanation point, no period, no, go back and do it again. He never told me where to, so I'm looking at him like, "What are you talking about?" By the time I was done, it was dark. So I'm like, "Dad, you never let me go outside." He said, "See them 3 boys outside?" And they were all playing on in the courtyard, playing on top of the big cement circle. "See them 3 boys out there right there?" He said, "You're gonna be upstate, just like them, if you go outside." And I never paid attention until I was upstate looking out the window. And I said, "Oh, my God." And that's when, he was right in my ear. He said, "See, I told you, dumbass." So I realized then that I couldn't do the same things. And I said, "Damn, Dad, you." And that at that moment, I cried, bro. When I said the doors kicked open, boom.
Right.
I laid on my bed. My son said, "You ain't going outside?" I said, "Nah, I'm good, bro."
I ain't going outside. My grandpa told me, I ain't going outside no more.
My father told me this. I put my face in that pillow, bro, and cried until the door kicked back open.
Yeah.
For him to come back in the cell. And I realized then, I said, all this time I've been mad. And that's what I'm saying. I know what it's like to be mad and upset and frustrated and pissed off at death.
Right.
You feel me? I know what it's like to sit in it for so long, right? That it becomes this big ass heavy weight that you got to pick up before you pick yourself up.
Yes.
I understand. So I didn't want that.
Right.
So I had to do the opposite of that. Right. And think about the goodness that my mom gave. Think about the goodness that my cousin gave. Think about the way she opened doors, the way she got me, the way she protected me. Think about the way my grandfather put prayer first and told me work for what I want and you will get paid. You have a radio station right now. First opened the radio station. He said, how you going to make money? I said, I don't know. He said, that's good. You're going to make a lot of money if you keep pushing the radio station. If you keep pushing the opportunity to talk, you're going to make a lot of money. I said, huh? I said, I don't know. He said, no. Just keep doing it.
I got you.
Your money going to come.
Right.
Because you're not worried about the money. So you got blinders on. You ain't thinking about the money the whole time. The money's running up to you like, here. So when I started the radio station and I got the call for the job, I was like, wow, maybe I'm going to take these jobs.
Right.
Guess what I wasn't able to focus on with the jobs? The radio station.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to put no energy into it. I was doing a little smattering of shows here and there, but I wasn't able to be here and focus on the radio station and drive it and push it. And I'm thinking other people going to push it and drive it for me. No. I had to push it. I had to drive it. So when I was talking to my mother, I said, I don't know what to do. All my money, when I'm getting paid, is going to the radio station. But I need the radio station to be self-sufficient, to stand on its own. That's how I know my dream has accomplished something. It don't have to go anywhere. It just has to stand on its own.
Yeah.
Right? So grants, money, right? Opportunities, right? And I see them, but I just don't jump on them the way I should.
I feel like it's the radio station is an imprecise word, for what you attempting to do when you say, I'm missing out on the radio station. Because it's a platform for something. Mm-hmm. You said, do you want to talk about, what is, it's a platform to do what? Like,
to cultivate mature positivity. So I wanted the radio station to be a platform for everyone.
It's still here. We still want it right now.
I want the radio station. I need for the radio station to be a platform for every individual person in the city of Chester. Whatever you want to see, whatever you want to hear about, whatever you want to do, come to the radio station. Let's put it out there for other people. I don't care if you don't feel like it's popular. And there's what they said, 7 million people in 7 billion people in the world.
Okay, but yeah, world.
You only need 1 million.
I got you.
And you can get 1 million from the 7 billion that's out there, right? You don't have to focus on your community. Somebody told me I'm so hyper focused on the small community, I forget the larger community at hand.
You want to hear my joke on that?
Go ahead.
One of my favorite quotes from Lorraine Hansberry. In order to find the universal, you have to focus on the specific. The detail of the specific. It's a very specific detail of life in Chester. And I'm not sure it's been told yet.
No, I haven't.
I'm not sure it's been showcased. We got a lot of art in Chester, but there's shades of what it means to grow up in Chester that I haven't necessarily seen experience yet. And I know a lot of people like to be like, yo, Chester is the hood like every other hood. No, there's something specific about our genealogy, about how we got here, about the forces that we have to confront, that we need to get to the root of. And that's the thing that connects us to so much. So I don't know who that was that said that, but my response to them would be like, oh, you missing it. You think it's about elsewhere. We still got to go deep in. We have yet to go deep in. There's still a lot of conversations we haven't had in this city.
Everybody doesn't want to go deep in. Everybody don't think they can survive going deep in. And I'm here to show and prove them, right, that you can.
But that's what uncomfortable conversations, right?
That's
James Baldwin says, right, how much the uses of the blues, amazing essay. I hope people find it. Yes, I did study a little bit. Right. I will say, how much truth can we handle in this onslaught that we living in? How much truth can we handle in our daily experience?
People love the
and
lies.
Still feel a reason to wake up in the morning.
Right.
That was his question, And I feel like there is something there, but I also think that we suffer by not going deep in. The cycles that you spoke about before keep repeating because we refuse to acknowledge those sort of like deep-seated, maybe even intergenerational cycles.
Yeah. Next week's uncomfortable conversation is with a young lady that she did her own shadow work. You know what shadow work is?
Tell me about it.
I don't know what it is. That's why I said she needs to come up here and talk to me about it. Right? But shadow work is when you look at yourself and try to remove all the bad things, or you hold yourself accountable for all the bad things that you've done.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't do something bad came from that, right? You want to look at that, right, and analyze that, and then you want to remove all those things, and then look at yourself naked, right, without it, and then try to pick up the pieces that it's like self-inventory backwards, I guess. So we're going to talk to her, and I think it's an amazing thing that she's gone through, right?
Right.
And she said, "Oh, you already did it." I was like, "No." She said, "But you talk like you did it." I said, "Maybe I did do it, but really didn't pay it any mind, didn't call it shadow work, didn't know it was out there. But I talked to someone else, and they explained it to me. And I was like, wow, like everybody's doing this shit. Maybe I need to do some shadow work." I thought it was boxing.
But I don't know, and maybe
Right.
maybe, and I talk about this imprecise word of this radio station and what this platform does. Maybe it's something about how many years you've been having conversations on this platform?
7.
7 years? Yeah. There's got to be an accumulation of moments that string and thread through where you are revealing things or coming to realizations about yourself, coming to realizations about your history.
Right. You had to go through it, bro. You have to go through it. You have to talk. So
maybe you have done some shadow work.
Yeah, I probably did. I just didn't, I didn't know what it was called.
Word.
Right. So I'm doing the thug sided shadow work, right? Where I ain't really saying I'm doing shadow work, but I'm doing shadow work. You feel me? Like, I ain't really out here doing this, but I'm really doing it.
When thugs cry.
Yeah, you don't see it.
Yeah.
You hear it.
But I think, to me, that's the question. What platforms, what opportunities, what communities do already in existence or that we need to create are the foundation for many of us?
It's hard to create a community.
To do that shadow work.
It's hard to create.
Have the supportive community that's not waiting to judge us.
You got to be vulnerable, bro. You have to be.
What's it take to be vulnerable?
Understanding your weakness. Understanding where you are. Understanding who you are. Understanding what you really want to see, right? Me and shout out to Gio, right? We had a conversation, I was a couple years ago. He was like, I'm not going to be vulnerable for anybody. But I'm like, if you can't be vulnerable, then you can't love. But him and his wife have a great relationship.
Right.
Right. And I think he is vulnerable to her.
Right. He did that same thug shadow work.
The thug shadow work, where you're doing the work, but you're not really talking about the work. Right. So, and I admire his relationship. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, that's a dope relationship where you and your woman can have a conversation and y'all can be both on 2 different platforms or 2 different areas of the conversation. But at the end of the day, y'all come to the middle and y'all understand what y'all have to do to stay in the middle. I think that's work, right? So, I'm good. Figure it out, whatever works for you. You feel me? If it's working for you, bro, don't change a thing. But for me, right, I had to be vulnerable and say, listen, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is the type of relationship that I want to see. And it hasn't matriculated for me because there are other people around, right? So, it'll come when it comes, and I'm not rushing anything. But in this grieving, I had to do that thing alone, bro. Like, I was in my mom's.
There's parts of it you have to do alone, for sure.
I was alone at my mother's funeral, right? I have 8 kids. I share my kids with 5 women.
Yes.
So you would think one woman was there.
Gotcha.
Right? And that's the older kids' mom.
Right.
Because she knew my mom.
Right.
And I think now, because of that, we've grown closer. Right? We talk, right? She understands what I'm dealing with, right? I've had a moment to talk to her. So, you see things differently now.
Right.
And it's like, man, all right. I guess that was something else that I had to be accountable for.
Right.
How I lied and cheated on you and broke your heart, right? I had to sit in that with you for a couple moments and understand what you had to deal with.
Meet in the middle, as you said.
Everybody's not capable of that. Because people don't want to own their stuff. You got to carry your stuff to the middle.
But I think we make that assumption way too, we let people off the hook a lot
Don't nobody want to argue with nobody constantly, bro. That's what happens. When you go to try to meet somebody in the middle, they yelling, they fussing, they screaming, they hollering.
But that gets back to our original sort of conversation of like, have they ever been given the tools to know how to like get there and not feel like they are sacrificing themselves? Like you said, the vulnerability and weakness piece, like that is a real thing. There's a real thing about white supremacy, oppression, this sort of like this pressure cooker that we're in that tries to make us believe that if we are vulnerable, the current will overtake us.
I've realized that you talk about white supremacy, and I spent a lot of money with those white people. I've done a lot of things, from Gucci to Louis Vuitton, to sweatsuits, to sneakers, to hats, to glasses. And when I was spending that money, I wasn't worried about them.
Right.
So at this point of me trying to find me, heal not just for me, but for my son.
Yes.
Right? Because I'm in front of him.
Yeah.
So he can see me go through it and say, oh, okay, I got to know this. I got to do this. I got to be a better, cool. And when you meet him, like, oh, that's your son?
Yeah.
I've had people come up to you, yo, your son is cool, bro. He might say some things that might tick you off, right? But he be right about it, right? And I said, yeah, that's cool. But I had to be vulnerable in that situation. I had to tell some people that they have to be vulnerable to be able to experience anything that's greater than them, right? And that's greater than their children. And so it's hard. But I go back to the spending the money. I was never worried about being vulnerable when I was pulling out my money and being vulnerable in a store full of people.
Right.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. I pay for that. No problem. Right. So why would I be why would I be scared of vulnerability now when I'm just expressing how I feel? Yeah. You can't hurt. You gonna hurt me for expressing how I feel? Yeah. Somebody told me the other day, he's like, bro, you have when you talked about getting jumped and how that changed your life, because there was a lot of instances where I didn't want to change. I was like, man, I'm not going to do that, man. I'm good. I'm going to keep doing this. But that one instance where everything stopped, and I damn near lost my eye, I had to think about, what is my son going to say? Right. How's my son going to feel after this is over? Nah, I'm done. Right. And I had to sit in the house and just put ice on my face and say, all right, I'm done. I don't want to hustle no more. I don't want to be out there no more. What am I going to do now? Right. With the therapy, I had to write action steps down. I had to make sure and I bought the journal, and I wrote in a book one day, Cultivating Mature Positivity. Then I heard about No Q Tommy and Purple Queen. I had a radio station in the city. I went over there. I saw a Maserati ran behind the microphone. I said, oh, no, I want to do this. Right. Oh, yeah. I got behind the microphone. It was like, yeah, da-da-da-da, yeah, da-da-da-da. I had more energy then. It's hard to be a personality, the producer, the engineer, the funder. But hold on, slow down. Because you're also suggesting that from the journal and this sort of you're manifesting something here. Right. And that's true. It definitely and then works. The radio comes in as a space to share with others what you are manifesting. That came from a place of grief. No, getting kicked in my face and understanding that I was wrong for doing what I was doing. Like I wasn't. A place of shame. I think that I don't know where that came from, honestly. I didn't want to retaliate. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want anybody's mother to cry. I didn't, right? I think that's when the young bull me came back out. It was like, nah, nigga, we not. The young bull me. Nah, nigga, we not doing that. Yeah. Like, you just got kicked in your face. You still got your teeth. Yeah, that was the first thing I checked. I still got my teeth. Yeah. One of my baby moms was there. She said, are you seriously talking about your teeth when your eye is hanging out your face? I was like, man, I still got my teeth. I'm good. She was like, oh, my
Good way of putting it. That's a good way of
right. I can still smile, right? I can, what's going on, right? I could give that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was about not acting on that, allowing that to be what it was. I was wrong. I've been wrong for the past 4 years, and that was my comeuppance. That's what I deserved.
Right.
And I took that.
Right.
Right. And the doctor said, listen, if the swelling doesn't go down correctly, you could lose your eye. And I wanted the swelling to go down.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I prayed, bro. And I talked to my grandfather. He said, just pray. And I talked to my cousin. I was like, all right, I'm gonna calm down for a little bit.
Did you have a deep relationship, like a spiritual relationship before that moment?
No, not really. I took my shahada in 1995, following behind my old head. You feel me? He took his shahada, but I found Islam to be the cleanest religion, and that is just taking care of yourself and your surroundings. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes I pray in here, and there might be a 1,000-legger that's about to walk, but the 1,000-legger stops.
Yeah. Right?
And it'll be like, all right, he'll move.
Yeah.
And then I come up, and as soon as I'm done, that's when he moves. And it's like, wow. Like, you understood that you wasn't supposed to walk. Like, you're not even, and maybe that's just me, just overanalyzing the situation, but that's something to me, right? Offering is something to me. Being in a space where humility comes first, right? Being humble. I'm not no sucker, but I'm super humble, right? I give you the shirt off my back if you need it. Don't use me. Right. Don't come here every day thinking you're going to get one, because one day you're going to get one and I'm going to rip it right back off you. So, no, I wasn't deep in spirituality. No religion was super deep, but my grandmother, my father, I watched them do it. Right. And I understood that, my grandfather told me to do something, and I said, I'm going to listen. And what age were you at when this happened? I was 36.
That's important.
No, 35.
One thing that's really important about that for me, and I love that you said, like, the young boy you. Mm-hmm. And what I interpreting from that is like this return of innocence, the return of possibility, that I can think, like, I have a sense of reclaiming my future. My one Muslim poet, Amir Suleiman, I am not who I once was, nor who I will be. You're reclaiming that space of self-determination. Right.
It was hard. Because, wife was yelling at me, ex-wife. We got a divorce, I had to watch my daughter deal with that. We were real close. She was always with me. So when I moved out, she took that hard, right? Her friend is gone. Her dad is gone, right? So it's a ton of things, right, that I've talked about. The real reason behind the radio station, it wasn't what it didn't start off the way it became, right? Because I want to say 3 weeks into the radio station, we had 19 shows. Everybody wanted to be on the radio station.
Of course.
And I was trying to figure out how to work. I didn't even have this equipment that we have now. We had a whole different array of equipment, and that stuff didn't work, but I was trying to understand it because I didn't know.
I got you.
Right? How to make this do what I wanted to do. Right? How to make it look the way I wanted it to look. Right. So I just remember, coming into the radio station every day and not leaving until it was 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Loving the radio station. Then there was a time where I had no other choice but to move into the radio station. Yeah. And that's when, I don't think me and my cousin really fell off, but that's when she was important at that moment, right? Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't able to do what I said I could do. Right. And she was like,
Can we lift up her name one more time?
Sherelle Foreman.
Okay.
And she was like, we argued. That was the first time I ever argued with her. And I understood why we argued. Mm-hmm. She was used to me being able to do things. If I said I was going to do it, it got done plus more. And I wasn't able to do it. And she wasn't used to that from me.
Got you.
So it was like I let her down. Right? And I understood. I did. So I just moved into the radio station and began to focus on the radio station even more, right? I started to distance myself from family, friends, right? And grabbing new family. new friends, new connections, right?
And this is where it gets interesting. Because totally in love with the transfer of energy. Moving from this space of what could have been a negative or self-destructive reaction. And you transfer that energy into creating a radio station. Powerful moment. Mm-hmm. But just as the story kind of keeps going, and even as you sort of mentioned up front, it does seem at some point the radio station
saved me.
Saved you. Mm-hmm. Then it kind of becomes a crutch.
Mm-hmm. It did.
From doing other necessary things. Work that was needed that may not have been possible
without the radio station.
Not without the radio station, just not at the radio station. It needed a different form of platform. Okay. Maybe in some ways, I don't know, it's a question.
Right, go ahead.
In terms of navigating these moments, what can a radio station do? But what are things and spaces, community that is needed beyond the radio station to sustain JP to be able to do the radio station? How does one's grief not overtake the radio station? How do you distinguish the two?
It's hard. It's not easy. I've probably, even without grieving, I remember there was a time when my daughter was just born. This was during COVID. She was born. She was preemie, right? 3 months, small.
Wow.
And I remember calling my grandfather. He said, "You know what you gotta do, pray." I remember calling my mom, right? She's like, "Well, she'll make it."
Right.
Just talk to her.
Yeah.
Her first movement will let you know whether she really wants to fight. So I said, I reached over. She was in a little box, and I was like, "Jordan, you good?" That was all I needed to say.
Thug shadow work.
Right. She put her on. I got the picture, bro. I'll show it to you when we done, bro. Yes. I was like, "What?" I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Okay, we're going to do it."
Yeah.
Let's go. So instantaneously from there, it was get her to AI DuPont. I think I was going through, and I talked to a father's group.
Right.
Shout out to Dr. Najee. I was going through postpartum depression. But it wasn't just for the baby. It was for the radio station, too, because I was struggling with that. You feel me? And then this job was popping up, so I was trying to figure that out, right? So it was like maybe I had too many pots on the stove at the same time. You can't watch everything.
I appreciate you saying that.
You can't. And that was another, and my mother said that.
Right.
She was like, "Look, you got 2 jobs. You got the radio station. Maybe you got too many things cooking."
Yeah.
Right. So just remove some. She was like, what? And she knew better than, she's like, "I'm not going to say that because I know that's what keeps you moving."
Right.
So it's just one of the jobs. Figure out which one it is.
Yeah.
Like, all right, it might be PA Humanities, right? Just because I felt as though that was something that might been a little bit over my head, right? Reciting the books.
I mean, you're pretty good at it.
I could be pretty good at it, but
full disclosure, I'm funded by.
Right. Shout out, bro. But it was, for me, it just didn't. I wasn't allowed to do what I wanted to do, for real.
I agree.
And I was some things I wanted to do, and But anyway, I love them, right? I love what they do for the community, and whatever they need from me, I'm there for them.
Yeah.
But they were the first people that I told. I was like, I can't do this.
Right.
I got to focus on my mom. I got to focus on my nephew. I got to focus on the kids. Right. I can't do this. And then after July 4th, I got a call to come into the DA's office and talk to them. And basically told me, I was making too much money.
Right.
And they wanted to cut back on my hours. So it was like, I sacrifice.
Yeah.
I had guns pulled out on me. I had 2 strokes working for you. The money was good, but it wasn't great because I didn't get health benefits.
Yeah.
You weren't helping me for real,
Right.
for real. Like, and was no taxes being taken out. You know how hard it is.
Right.
You getting all this money at the end of the year, then to file taxes. I'm not that well put together to do that. Right. So, it was like, cut your hours back. I was like, all right, I quit.
Right.
Well, we're not going to beg you. Well, I don't want you to beg me. I just want to give you your stuff here. Take all your stuff and leave me alone, please.
Right.
Right. And I think in that was a grieving moment where I wanted to.
Well, were they aware that you were grieving?
He was.
Okay, I got you.
He was. He came to my mother's viewing.
Right.
So he knew. And I told him the day of it. Honestly, the day my mother died, I was in the courtroom, so I was still trying to help kids, right? Mm-hmm. The young man that I helped then got in trouble and did what he wanted to do. So it made me look bad that I put my name on the line for him, and then he messes up. But that's just life, bro.
Right.
Like, people are going to do what they want to do.
Right.
They're not going to do what you want them to do.
Yes.
You got to understand that, right? So, if that's what you want to do, cool.
Yeah.
But we got to figure out what you're going to do afterwards.
Right.
Right. So come talk to me after you're done with that, and I got you. I love the brother, man. I want him to, Jade, I want him to hit me up and talk to me, bro. But I can't force him. I can't force his hand. So I quit that job, and then I sat out front of the courthouse. I felt free. I said, all right, now I'm going to focus on the radio station.
Got you.
That's when I called you.
Okay.
Right.
I appreciate that.
And that's when I called you. And it wasn't, it was just to pick your brain about how you saw the radio station and what you saw from the radio station and how you think. I'd love for people to be involved with the radio station that have seen more than I've seen, that have read more than I've read. I don't want anybody in this station looking at me like I'm because guess what?
Right.
I will fail every time, right? Because I feel as though I'm failing. You could say, no, you're great. You're doing a great job, right? But I feel as though I'm failing because I don't have all the information.
And about that conversation, so I remember this conversation. I think I was just sitting in the back, I usually just like listen to music. Okay. Oh, word. What's this about? Okay. Where this going? And you were asking me one question, but like, you say thug shot. Like, it was like one of those questions where it's like, it's a leading question.
Yep.
Where it's like, you asking me this, but it's something underneath here that's really more pressing. And we had this conversation about it. And I guess, we've been uncomfortable the whole time. I don't know. Well, I've been, okay.
I'm good being uncomfortable.
Okay.
That's why I came up with the title Uncomfortable Conversations.
I got you.
Right?
But I think one of the things that we got to in that conversation, and I think the timeline that you gave us and the series of things that you're navigating during this period as you're trying to maintain the community that is CMP Radio.
Yep.
It's not just JP. It can't survive just being JP.
Boy.
It has to be done in community.
It has to be.
But there's also some relationship flux that is happening through the radio station. I think on the call you was like, each one is specific and not but I was like, it seems to be a pattern of people who come through the radio station. It starts, it makes its way, then some
it falls off.
It falls off. And I guess my question, those people got their own story.
Go ahead.
But I think my question is, do you feel like any of your
It could be
grief
it could be
had impact on the community relationships that made up CMP?
Absolutely.
How would you, like, in what ways?
I just had this conversation out front. Maybe I guess I'm seen as a big guy. I don't see myself as a big guy.
Okay.
I'm still 12. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a little Pierre, right?
Young boy me, yeah.
And I'm not, I don't see myself as this. I walk out of that room and looking in that mirror every day and say, okay, maybe I am a big guy. But I'm a gentle giant. I'm a Haitian teddy bear, bro. Like I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I just want to build with everybody, right? So
I buy that shirt, Haitian teddy bear.
I just it gets hard sometimes. I will take 60% of the blame for why people leave here because it's not always my fault.
We shouldn't even talk about fault.
Right.
Fault is not the right.
It's not always me. Sometimes it's consistency. Sometimes it's money. And if it's money, talk to me.
Yes.
I'm not asking you to come in and say you're broke. I'm not asking you to come in and say you don't have anything.
Yeah.
But I am asking you to say, yo, P, man, like this month, man, I'm hurting. I'm probably going to be hurting for the next couple months. Is there anything you could do for me? Bro, you can come in here and engineer shows. You can come in here and help me grow.
Right.
You can come here and help the radio station grow.
Right.
I still want your show to be here. Right? Go out and look for a sponsor.
Yeah.
Go find, Just Pizza. I have not reached out to the industries in the city, the smaller industries, just for that reason. Yeah. You can reach out and call somebody that's looking for some promotion, and you can promote them on the radio station. You keep their money, bro.
Right.
You feel me? Like, now you got to give me some of that money, but you can keep some of it. So
if
you were paying me $300 a month for your show, and you just got a sponsorship that's paying you $50 an episode. Now, that $200, you can say, yo, all right, I got them at $200. Right. Can I just give you the $200? And yeah, now you just made $300 because you get to keep your $3.
Right.
For their $2.
But in short, without the math and all that, it would say meeting in the middle, right? As you mentioned, right?
That's it. I'm not trying to have nobody walk 90 yards to me.
Right.
I'll meet you right at the the midfield.
Now, this is where I got
half court. Go ahead.
Now I got you.
Right.
Because a lot of what you have said about your work, a lot about what you have said about the lessons your mother instilled in you, is you don't just come to the middle.
I don't.
You don't say, I'm going to come to the middle, meet me in the middle, and we're going to be here.
I'm typically
at your want to go.
I'm at your foul line.
You at the foul line.
I'm at your foul line. Willing to take your foul shots for you. You know, I was the Grand and Run champion of foul shots. They used to have the championship.
Remember was it Sneaker Stadium?
It was Sneaker Stadium, Foot Locker.
No, my brother was the champion of that. Shout out to my brother, Charles Rogers.
I won that joint, bro. What you talking about? I don't know what year.
Biddy League All-Stars.
I was never allowed to play Biddy.
Never allowed.
I wasn't, bro.
What you mean? Did you pay the fee?
The fee would have been paid. It was never a problem with the money. Money was never a problem, right? I just wasn't allowed, bro. I wasn't.
I wasn't.
And
that's how I met all my friends.
Yeah, I wish I would have been able to play because then I would have understood basketball and the coaches would have seen me and they would have known my jumper was wet like Steph Curry before Steph Curry was even Steph Curry. I was down on Jeffrey Street on the street hoops making money off shots shooting from the other end of the court all the way down and making them joints, bro. Like, so
returning to be on the other end of the court.
Right. People don't respect that either.
But this is the question.
Right.
This is the question.
Go ahead.
Before you go to their foul line, do you say,
I'm here?
Are you willing to meet me in the middle? Or do you just go to the foul line?
No, because they can't talk and say they want to meet in the middle or they need me to meet them in the middle. So I just go to the foul line and say, here, I'm here to help you shoot your foul shots. Here, I'm here to help you understand what you should do. Here, I'm trying to help you, right? I'm not here just for me.
You know that thing of what they say, equally yoked. You know what I mean? Oh, you about to pull up a screenshot?
No. No. I wish.
Okay, and this is my story. You can call it fan fiction. You can let me know it's fan fiction.
Go ahead.
But when you are willing to go above and beyond,
right,
and you do that
all the time
as a default,
people expect that from you. I get it.
And then when they don't come,
right, they get mad and upset.
But who else gets mad and upset?
Not me.
You put yourself out there.
I don't get mad and upset for that.
Yeah, okay.
That has been my life. That's been my life story, bro. That I go above and beyond and I do more than I should do. And then when I don't have, I just shut down. When I don't have and I can't do something, I shut down. I don't call. I don't reach out. I call. My phone was off.
You isolate.
My phone was off yesterday.
You isolate.
I fall back, right? Because if I had a me, I'd be great, bro. Literally.
Right.
But I don't. So the people that I have around me are needing for me to show up at that half court line every day and drop that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's it. They're not thinking about my court that's down there with cobwebs running all through it. You feel me? And I need some help down here. I don't know what you're going to do.
So, great question.
All right.
Great question. How do you invite help?
I don't.
Tell me a story about the last time you invited help.
I didn't. I don't.
It seems to be a...
It is. That could be my issue, right? And that could be what I need to do my shadow work on, how to invite help. I don't like asking for help and people throw it back up.
You call me?
I call you, you're different.
Okay.
And you know why you're different? Because you already know you can't help.
That is true.
Right.
I will meet you.
You started off.
You talking about the other foul line. I'm at the jump ball, half court. Look, this is what I got.
I can get this done, but I can't take on nothing else. You feel me? And
right.
You say that from the beginning.
Boundaries.
So I know that.
Right.
So when I call you, it's just to run things through your head so I can hear how they sound or what they might do for the radio station.
Right.
I don't really need your help.
Got you.
If I need you to write an email or something like that, well, you do that on your own. You say,
Got you.
I'm going to do this. All right, I can do that. I can help you here, right?
Right.
And I appreciate that.
Right.
Right? Same thing with Andrew. When Andrew come through, whatever Andrew can do, he do.
Right.
Same thing with Nasir. Whatever Nasir can do, he do. Same thing with Malcolm. Whatever Malcolm can do. Y'all are busy men working
But this
in
is
your
still
community.
But this is still work.
Right.
We're talking about work here. We're talking about like business. We're talking about opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
The context of the conversation is about the self.
Right. Yeah, I would love to have that. I would love to be able. And I said this the other day, and I said, you weren't there when I needed you the most.
I don't even want to know who you said that to, but I agree with you.
And it was like, I accepted you the way you showed up. You weren't there when I needed you the most.
Right.
So I don't even know how to look at you.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can't be mad because I know I did some things that just turned you off.
Right.
I know you said some things that turned me off.
Right.
But I forgive you for that because we have another responsibility here. Right? And I don't want to turn us into enemies. But
this conversation is also another conversation of like repair, right? I think that's another thing that there's no classes for, there's no manual for.
There's no manual for
There's
nothing.
no, how do we learn how to repair?
Through your fuck ups. Right? You fuck up, you go in the garage. That's why I isolate. I go in the garage to fix. All right, how did I handle that? Right. There's a couple different people that I wish their podcast was still here.
Uh-huh.
I keep doors open for podcasts.
Right.
I don't have a problem with a podcast leaving today,
right,
coming back 3 years later.
Got you.
Right? I've learned new stuff. Hopefully you've learned some new stuff, right? We put that together, make an awesome show. But there's only one thing that I need from you when you come back, and that is consistency. Yeah. I need you to show up the day on time. I need you to show up, whether it's an hour early or it's 2 hours, or if there's no show ahead of you, I need you to be prepared to talk about what you need to talk about. But I don't want you to come back the same way you came back before, and I don't want you to fall off. So, if you can't give me consistency, I don't want you here at all. Which is this
Interesting thing that I sometimes get in a bit of like, there's this personal, professional thing. Like what you're saying is like, for your podcast to return to CMP, I need a level of consistency. But there's also the sense of personal relationship. You know what I mean? Right. And what that needs. And the honesty, communication that needs. Before we can even get to the podcast.
No.
In order for us to be on one again. But the thing, but this is the tough part about repair, is like, in some ways, we got to be willing to give people another shot. We got to be willing to give people second chances.
I give second. My mother gave me 85 chances. I know this for a fact because I know how many times I watched her cry.
Right.
I know how many times I watched her be mad at me.
Right.
It was on the 85th chance that she said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing this no more.
Right.
And I was like, what you mean you done?
Right.
How you gonna tell me you done? What do you mean you done? You can't be done with me.
Right.
I'm done. You can leave. You can go wherever you want to go.
Right.
But I'm done. I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Do you think she needed to wait till 85 to do that?
No, she could have did it on one. It would have been better if she would have done it on one. I would have never got to 85. I'd probably be a doctor right now like you. We'd probably be two doctors sitting here on someone else's radio station who got time for this and talking about the things that we're talking about. But she loved me. And I try to give that back. I try to give that out. I try to be there for everyone in whatever capacity they need me there. And I tell people, listen, I really don't have right now. Yes. I think for the rest of this year until January 1st, 2025, I can only focus on the radio station. I don't have the capacity to do what I was doing before. Being there, supporting your endeavors.
Go ahead. You gotta slow down a bit. Because you're saying you want to focus on a radio station.
Yeah.
We having an uncomfortable conversation about you.
But this is that's focused on the radio station.
I
am the radio station.
You create the radio station.
No. It's all over me, man. It's all the CMP.
Wait, no. But there's
CMP.
There's
CMP.
This is a Venn diagram.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
You know, there's still a JP over here and CMP radio. Yes, there's parts that's connected, but you still got a whole, what do you say, shadow over here too.
Yeah. I think the shadow of JP has he needs to learn not to give of himself so much. We spoke about that.
Right.
So now I'm telling you that people are calling me and I'm telling them I need to focus on the radio station. When in all actuality, I'm saying I need to focus on me.
Okay.
Right?
I'm happy that you said that.
Right. Because I'm still grieving.
Facts.
I'm still upset.
Right.
I'm still pissed.
Right.
I'm still mad.
Yes.
And every day it doesn't get worse, but I posted it the other day. I said, damn, I just need one win.
Yeah.
Like just one. Just one to reassure me that I'm doing everything that I need to do, right? I'm not begging for it. I'm not asking for it. Then I get a phone call. Hey, man, I love the radio station, man. I would love to support it. Can I get some airtime?
Right.
I said, for your campaign? Absolutely. I said, well, I was hitting up the other guy.
Because you got to. It's political rules. You got to do both sides.
To no avail, no response, no anything. Right. Cool. That's how you feel about the radio station? Right. No problem. Remember that, because when you do come, you're going to pay at least $10,000. So it was, for me, it helped.
Right.
Because I needed it. Like I said, my phone was off yesterday, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard over here right now. And I'm just thinking, like, did I fuck up by quitting my jobs? What did I do?
Right.
Right? Like, because the job that I have right now, they ain't paying me nowhere near the money I was making before, but I love it because I'm teaching kids how to podcast. I'm teaching kids to understand who they are personally, right? Before you get into this group, who are you? What do you like? What do you dislike?
Slow down. You said a podcast. Mm-hmm. Teaching them how to podcast is about teaching them who they are. Mm-hmm. I want to hold that because that's like a really important thing about what the power of this platform is intending to do. Right. It's about finding your voice.
It is.
And it takes work.
It does.
It was Miles Davis? Somebody is one of our jazz musicians.
And no teacher.
Takes a long time to start sounding like yourself.
Yeah, it does.
You got to work through a lot of stuff.
Yes, you do. Especially if you're old.
Yeah.
I was 37 when I sparked the radio station when it came up, and I knew it started in therapy, and I was like, this is going to be a long-ass motherfucking road.
Yeah.
I said that. I was like, all right.
A lifelong journey, if you will.
Bro. 7 years, so many disappointments, so many heartaches, so many fights, so many frustrating moments, so many breath, like, whew, I'm glad we made that. Oh, we just made that, bro. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm looking down right now. I can see lava, bro.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, so that was close. All right. Let's go back. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
but and I know I'm gonna start rounding it out. You know what I mean? Game night.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Homecoming week.
I know you want to
shout out
to
Class
it.
2006. But I think what's important, and there's so many important. I can't wait to like watch this back. I feel like there's so many, and I hope people, you know, if they're seeing this,
Right.
they can also pull moments. Because in this, one of the things that you mentioned is like, this is my time to focus on me. Now, you mentioned previously that at times when you felt you needed others, that they weren't there, that you could have used support.
They weren't there because I didn't ask.
But
see, they say
check
on your strong friends.
But this is where we going.
All right.
It's like, if this is your time to focus on you, how can we support you in this moment? What are things that we can do, myself, listeners, viewers, folks who may collaborate with the station? What can we do? And not always about the station, but just supporting you during this time. What would you request?
I want to say that I want to thank all my moms out there. If I call you mom, I call you mom for a reason. When my mom died, they reached out to me, right? They kept me pushing. And that was the first time I ever felt that. Miss Twyla, Miss Mayfield, Miss Patricia Tripley, Miss Renee. Man, there's so many moms that reached out to me and just allowed me to feel loved, right? Because that first day, it was hard. Because I had to go and sit with my mother until they came and took her body, right? It was so much I didn't get a chance to say to my mother. It was so much. It was so much I didn't get a chance to do with my mother. So I want to give a shout out to them. What do I need from the community? I just need support. I just need you to share a show. I just need you to like a show.
Yeah.
I just need you to understand how important this radio station is. I need for some brothers to get together, do a sports show. I need content. Content is money to me. If you can't pay for your show, well, let's come together. Let's talk about that, right? What does it look like for you not to be able to pay for your show? How much ownership do you have? How much ownership will I have?
Right.
What does it look like for you to want to pay for your show?
Right.
Right? Like, what kind of support, monetary support do you have? Donations. We have a nonprofit.
Right.
Right? So, give me $100, I'll write you a tax deductible letter.
So what I'm hearing from this is that a request, an invite could possibly be, in order for me to have the time to focus on myself, but not sacrifice this incredible platform that I sacrificed so much of my life to create and build.
It saved me, bro.
That saved me. I need community to make sure that this platform stays alive.
Right.
And that community can hold this until I have the space, so that I can have the space to work through some things I need to work through.
Oh, you tripping.
To say some things, that I need to say that I haven't said yet.
Where you heard that at?
That I probably shouldn't say on the radio because I need to say it in a space that.
Where you heard me say that at?
Oh.
No, you tripping. You trying to give me some vacation time. I don't want no vacation time. I don't. All right, I didn't say that. Where you heard that?
Vacation time.
You want me to tell you?
What you got against vacation?
I don't like vacations, bro. I do. I really do like vacations. I don't have a problem with vacations. It's just not. It's not time for it yet. Right. And when it's time, I'll get my vacation. When it's time, I'll be able to step back. When it's time, when I put everything together the way it needs to be put together, then I'll take a vacation.
But I feel like you're saying on one side, it's some time that I need to take to say some things that I need to say.
But on the other side is I really don't want to take the time because I'm gonna keep it fun.
Yeah, look, I like this. He gonna keep thinking about this. This ain't gonna end right here. Okay, sorry.
I had this request. I wanted to hit the Powerball when the Powerball was big.
Of course,
the Mega Million. It was big. It was like $864 million. I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit this tonight, and I'm gonna cash the ticket tomorrow. I'm gonna reach out to some people. Get Miss Twyla Simpkins to sell me the Y. We're gonna put a pool in there. We're gonna fix it up. Give her the upstairs.
Wow, you're not just gonna invest in the Y?
No,
you gonna buy it?
I'm gonna buy it from her.
Okay,
right.
The Yes Center.
The Yes Center. She can have the third floor.
Mm-hmm.
Put her museum upstairs on the third floor. The history of Chester on the
I think it should be accessible on the first floor.
But then it's on the first floor. Wherever you want it at.
All right, gotcha.
It can go there. But we need a Y.
Yes.
Get the League Center.
The indoor pool also.
Yeah, the indoor, absolutely the indoor pool. That's the only reason why I wanted the indoor court.
Right.
The places for the kids to go, to come together, to learn from each other. See, that's what the old Chester had, right? Spaces for kids to learn from other kids. My mother played the clarinet. Her other girlfriends played the clarinet. You feel me? Like my aunt played the saxophone, played the trumpet, right? Other people, other kids did the same thing. Put my clothes back. See, my kids coming in here stealing clothes. But we don't have those places anymore. And they really tried to put us all in school. In school, kids don't want to be in school, so they fussing and fighting and screaming and hollering and yelling.
I ain't gonna try to resolve it today.
Right.
But I think one of the things to say is, I agree. We do need those spaces.
Right.
But we also need a healthy, free, love-filled JP. The community needs that. And if you need to take time for yourself for us to get to that bridge, coming back stronger than ever, more effective than ever, I think that we have a responsibility to one another to support. You don't want to call it vacation, okay? You call it a retreat. No, not a retreat. No, not a retreat. An advance. That's what they say in church, right? It's not a retreat. It's an advance.
It's an advance.
Right. You got to advance yourself. Sometimes you got to, step back to step forward. I think it's something in there, bro. Right. I think it's something in there. Okay. This uncomfortable conversations. We've been through a lot of moments. I don't even know what time we at. How long we been on?
An hour and 45 minutes.
For real?
Yeah. I said, man, listen.
I gotta go drink.
Yeah, you gotta go drink, right?
Thanks.
And I gotta get ready to start this other show, right?
I'll bet. You about to do another show?
Yeah, we had another show going on right now.
Man, don't take no time
off. And then
off.
after that, we got Grown as Fuck. Grown AF. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry about my curse word earlier too.
No, it's okay. It's all right. It's CMP where we curse. Yeah. That's how we talk. I'm sorry if it offends you.
Word.
If it upsets you, but it's life.
Well, I really appreciate you for allowing me to be on CMP in this way.
Well, I want you to come back and let's keep on doing this, right? I get what you're talking about, though. I do. I understand.
Yeah.
The reason for a vacation. It's just it's hard to leave. I went to Tampa Bay, and when I was in Tampa Bay, Leslie, who is like so much of what I do, she does.
Right.
She was like, "Oh my God!" Like, all right, first I had to set up the show, then I had to do this.
Yeah.
She was like, "I'm tired." I said, "Now you see how I feel on a daily basis, right? Just being there for everyone, and just trying to help, trying to fit in where you fit in, right? The radio station is an integral part of the community, has been for 7 years. So we're coming out homecoming, right? We'll be out there. So if you want to stop through, you want to talk, right? My man Darren DeVoe, right? We'll be broadcasting the game. You feel me? The D train is coming back, right? Had to take a couple stops. You feel me?
Shout out to our engineer.
I just want people to understand that the love that my mother I have that love for everyone, right? And I just want, if you have something you want to talk about, something you feel strongly about, something that you believe in, something that you just want to say, come to the radio station. Get a show. I don't care if it's a half an hour show. It's a 45-minute show. If it's an hour show. I don't want you coming up here and talking bad about nobody. But if that's what you choose to do, that's your show. I would suggest you cultivate mature positivity. But if you're not trying to cultivate mature positivity, again, that's your show. I just feel like I need help. Engineers, interns, content creators. These are the people that we need, right? Because I've been wearing all of those hats. There was a time where typically I'll be behind the what's that thing called, Darren, that you sitting behind? I'll be behind the Procaster with a microphone over there doing this interview with you.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard for me to focus on you and hit the buttons at the same time.
Totally agree.
Right. This is the first time.
Right.
Not the first time, but it's one of few that I get an opportunity to sit back and do this show. So
yeah.
I want to thank our engineer, Darren DeVoe, right, for his time. And I want to thank you for stopping
Appreciate
through.
you, brother.
And I'm inviting you to come back again whenever you can catch the train.
Gotcha.
I guess I got to have something
So I got
to do.
the car today. Me and the wife share one
Okay.
car. I got the car today. It worked out.
Be careful. All right.
Appreciate you.
Homecoming weekend, man. I know everybody's coming in. We got people coming in that have come in before, that haven't come in a long time, right? You know, come with some grace. Come with some understanding.
Right.
Give that to your people, right?
Give them grace to grow
Mm-hmm.
and the space to be renewed.
Come on, man. Damn.
That's beautiful.
It's a bar.
Yes.
I love that. It's CMPRadio.net. You already know it's your boy, Uncle P, man. This was Uncomfortable Conversations. Again, I want to thank our guest host, Dr. Christopher Rogers. My guy. Class of 06, man.
Class of 06, we in the building.
It's game night.
I'm coming, Eddie.
Where you at game night? Where they at?
We at E. Graham spot.
Oh.
E. Graham got the gallery over at 6 and Upland. It's going down. Hold up. I don't know. Everybody ain't invited. You got to be 06 to come. So never mind. Sorry about that.
What?
It's all right. We'll see y'all. Peace.
CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester.